Sean Lang here, host of Pro Wrestling Enforcer podcast. Make sure to check out our new website, fightly.com/pro wrestling for all of your professional wrestling articles, interviews, and podcasts, as well as some other exclusive content. So keeping and updated results for WWE, for NXT, for Impact Wrestling, and AEW. And right now, we're welcoming Michigan native pro wrestler Travis Stein on Wrestling Enforcer podcast for the first time.
Oh yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I'm doing pretty well. Just trying to hang in there, doing whatever I can for pro wrestling and everything, because bookings aren't as frequent as they used to be, obviously. Because
Sure.
There's only a few shows running here and there, so staying as busy as I can.
My first question: how has it been for you? Dealing with not being able to wrestle as much as you used to be. Lack of pro wrestling events happening during the pandemic. And, for you, you were really starting to get noticed, I believe, from 2019 to 2020. We saw you at more events in the Chicago area. You also were featured at SCW Pro as well, and AEW Dark. You got a spot there last year.
Yeah, it felt like when I did the Dark appearance, I was going to start doing a few more things too. And then the few shows that I were going to be on had to cancel, unfortunately. So it was like right moment, everything's kind of going well, and then it was like swept right underneath the rug. It was kind of unfortunate. It was frustrating, but I think everything kind of happens for a reason. So we'll see how the future keeps unfolding. And it was unfortunate, but I think 2021 is going to be pretty good.
Good. Glad to hear that, man. We appreciate you again being on the show. And our next question for you is, trained by Marek Brave. This guy's a former AEW champion. We've seen him in AEW before. Him and, Seth had, or Tyler Black back then had some great rivalries, some great matches. I kind of came through the tail end of their big feud. That's when I started watching AEW. Talk about having them in your corner, having the experience of veterans like them to guide you so far.
Yeah, man, I couldn't have asked for two better coaches. And I actually point out, too, I got trained at House of Truth by Truth Martini.
Okay.
I don't know if you knew that as well. So I went there originally. So having not only Marek and Seth Rollins along with Truth Martini, it's just a huge blessing, because I have three intelligent, hardworking guys that just know so much about this business. And they've helped me so much along the way, and they continue to help me as I keep going after I've been in for a few years now. So I can't help but be appreciative for every little thing that they've done for me, and just everyone else, not just for me. So especially when I first got done graduating, I didn't go to Seth as much because I didn't know how often I could. You know what I mean? Just because of how busy he is and everything. But I went to Marek a lot and sent him a ton of matches, and he would always, take each match spot by spot initially, and just kind of go with like certain things that you could adjust with and stuff like that. So, and then once I got a little bit more comfortable, I did start sending stuff to Seth more often too, and then I got more feedback from him and Marek. So it was really cool to get that perspective from where Seth is at, at the top of the game, and then from my other trainer too, with all like these independent level bookings and stuff. I didn't go to Seth as much at first, just because I was kind of unsure on if I really should, or if it was like okay, just because of how busy he is with his schedule and everything. So, but I definitely went to Marek a lot, and he helped me tremendously, especially through the first couple of years, just sending a match after match after match, and just helping learn each step along the way of how I can improve. And then once I felt more comfortable, I started sending them to Seth too, and he's helped me so much more because he's at that top level, and then learning stuff from him is just very valuable and extra important to help me get better.
Sure. Like I said, these guys had, great matches in AEW. They had runs like Ring of Honor and other big promotions as well. So I still remember Age of the Fall. You remember them?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
Talk about, we saw you on AEW Dark last fall, and about that experience, and why is AEW somewhere that you would see yourself?
It was awesome, man. It was crazy because I'd never been on that high of a platform before. So being able to share the ring, not only there, but like with Ricky Starks as well, was just such a surreal experience. Walking out, and like while it would have been cooler, to experienced like a larger crowd on that level, I still was fortunate to have some experience with a crowd there, going on AEW Dark, and just everyone there, the whole company, man, I can't say better things about. They were very welcoming, very encouraging. They gave you so many critiques with things that you could do to improve on, no matter what it was. So I can't say enough about them, man. It was a great time, and who knows, maybe I'll be back at some point soon.
Definitely. Well, hopefully we'll see you get back and get your first win. I know you're 0-0 when you 0-1 now, so
Yeah.
they do keep track of those records there. Talk about when you were training with Marek Brave, Seth Rollins. Talk about developing yourself. Developing that character that you demonstrate in ring, and some aspects you felt were either easy or hard to pick up.
So I was fortunate because how I had trained at House of Truth before, where I had a good background on the basics of a lot of things. So that was nice. And I think just honestly, my football background helped me tremendously with like picking up on a lot of the physical aspects and knowing how much I can push my body through a given day, because it's not just tough physically, it's like tough mentally trying to get through that grind in and of itself. But maturing throughout it, I think they helped me just realize that I'm more of a baby face than anything. Mm-hmm. Like they always just visualize me as like this dude that just doesn't give a crap about anything, and he's gonna put this mean face on, he's gonna bring it in intensity, basically like Kurt Angle, and just go at you at full force, you know what I mean? So
sure,
it's kind of how it's been. They never really had me as much of like a character or anything like that. They always just came at me with more of a serious tone. So
definitely, it makes sense. Not everybody, pulls off the big character, and not everybody can do like the more serious stuff. So,
well, I mean, you got like Danhausen, you got Warhorse, and like those guys like really reinvented themselves. I don't know if you saw either of them really beforehand, but like I worked Warhorse probably 2 years before he became like Warhorse, and it's just it's like still some of the same, but like his amplitude so much higher.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see like how far he's come with that. And like even Danhausen, I saw some of his stuff before he became like Danhausen, and it's crazy how much he's revolutionized himself, and it's awesome to see. And like he's in Ring of Honor now, so that's really cool.
Talk about connecting with the fans with your character.
How do I connect like with the fans with my character? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a lot just based off of how I would just sell, you know what I mean? And like really like reflecting like that emotion and conveying everything to them. Like, well, I look like I'm in agony, because I mean, I had a match probably 2 years ago where there was a few people that actually cried because they thought I was in so much pain. It was over the top. So just really emoting an actual sell that's like legitimate, and like that's what I kind of pride myself on, because it seems like it's not used as much nowadays. Like really just like getting beat up so much and just selling, So I think that's where I try to stand out or try to specialize in more than a lot of other people.
Definitely. But I'm sure that a welcome respite is a tag team match where you don't have to sell all the moves, right?
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah. Any specific wrestler you like to tag team with, or anyone you'd like to tag that you haven't been tagging with already?
I haven't really done a whole lot of tag team matches, to be honest with you, but Ben Carter and I tagged back at AEW probably like a little over a year ago or so. And we had always kind of been compared to one another because we looked really similar, but he was just British and I'm American. We had always been compared a lot, and it was actually funny because I chipped my tooth like 2 weeks after he chipped his tooth 2 weeks after I had chipped my tooth. So it was kind of funny. So then people just kept referring to us like looking a lot alike, and not wrestling like similar, but like being like intense as we are. That dynamic was always kind of similar, and I thought we kind of meshed well, and if we got put together, it could have worked, just because of like the style of wrestling that we have. So
now,
I think if there was someone, that would definitely be it.
For sure. Yeah, too bad we didn't get to see more of that before, he went on to the WWE NXT. So, seeing that news, how happy were you for him? As he came from Brave and Black, you got to know him like the past year or two.
Yeah, man, it's super exciting for him. Like I can't help. I mean, just seeing how hard he works and everything too, and like part of you at the same time is going to be a little jealous because like, oh, man, I want to be there, but it's like it just helps add fuel to the fire, and it's like seeing that, man, someone so close to you did it. Like they're there where they want to be, and if you just continue to work and you put in everything that you're trying to do to get to that dream of where you want to be, it can really be done. And like you see firsthand right by him. So it's cool to see. Incredibly happy for him because he worked really hard, and he's definitely got a bright future.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'd like to see him every Wednesday night on NXT one day soon.
Yeah.
I had to go back to October last year. You had a fun match. How fun is that? You took on EC3. Quarterbound for Glory. That match was from the start to the end was not boring at all. That was very exciting. And talk about kind of the psychology behind that match. You were from Indiana. I'd say that you were from Indiana or something. Just behind you more.
Yeah, man, it was crazy because like I had like a whirlwind with who I was all supposed to wrestle that day. So I was like originally supposed to be in a scramble, and then I was gonna wrestle Alex Shelley, and then he's like, "Oh nope, you know what? You're gonna wrestle EC3." I was like, "Well, holy crap! That's something I never thought would happen." So that was really cool, man, and just getting to experience him, getting to experience the ring with him, and really just trading blows right away, because like he's so serious now, like he's like very on edge, and I knew I had to give him everything I got, so it's kind of like a Brock Lesnar kind of fight, you know what I mean, where you just go right at each other, you're just trading blows, and whoever is fortunate to land that last one's gonna win. And unfortunately, he got the W that day, but I thought I held my own and brought it the way that I could.
I didn't think people, approaching the match didn't think it was going to go that way. Not that you were going to be steamrolled, but you really almost had very close pinfall attempts and really some high impact moves that put him down.
Yeah, man, it was close. We were right there, but it's unfortunate. But you live and you learn, and it's a stepping stone. It's nice to be able to step in the ring with a few of those guys that are more accomplished, with like EC3, TJP, and Alex Shelley. So I can't help but be thankful enough for being able to share the ring with all three of those guys.
Yeah, definitely. And I know you did some little work with Alex Shelley, right? You did some training with him?
Yeah, I did some training with him like a couple months ago. And he's been a huge mentor in my life lately.
Just saying that how you got to train with him and Miguel, train Miguel.
Yeah, man, that was an awesome experience, and actually I'm gonna continue to keep doing that stuff to try to improve, But Shelley's been a huge influence on me the last couple of years now, and he's always someone I kind of looked up to, especially growing up in Michigan as well. But it's so surreal that he's one of my mentors and like one of my better friends now on the independent scene. So I go to him for advice all the time, and I mean, it seems like he's kind of helping the world of independent wrestling right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's got quite a few guys that are just reaching out to him, trying to get better, and it's really cool to see, and I'm fortunate to be one of them.
Definitely. Yeah, one of the top guys right now in independent wrestling, Impact, and do all that as well on New Japan. And once talk about Japan, once you're able to travel the world, where would you want to wrestle? Where would you like to go overseas?
God, I think going over to Japan would be pretty cool, to be honest with you. It's just the scenery and everything, just being able to visit all that stuff would be awesome. But then the crowd itself is just, of what I've heard, especially talking to Shelley, it just sounds incredible. Like I think my style would mesh really well in Japan, and it's definitely somewhere I could see myself. And it's Japan, probably number one. The UK would be pretty cool too. I think that'd be a good time.
Nice, especially we got Benjamin Carter who's over there currently, got the connection. And then would that be a milestone for you getting the Rivera jacket?
Yeah, no, that'd be cool.
No, just talking about how the the famous wrestlers that have been idolized at the wrestling, probably like to, be there one day and get the jacket.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. That'd be awesome.
And then also, question for you is, place that you love wrestling in front of the crowd.
So Chicago's pretty cool. They get pretty wild. But this crowd at SCW,
Mhm.
man, they're something else. Like they really, really, really get into it here, and whether it be in Walcott, Iowa, Dubuque, Iowa, Iowa City, Iowa, they've just really invested into our product, and it's so cool to see. So even though it's like homegrown and like that's where I spend a majority of my time, I definitely would say SCW Pro here in Iowa because they're always there for you, man. Like they're literally into every single match and they're trying to be as invested as possible. So it's really cool. Had a lot of special moments there.
Nice. Hopefully they come back soon. You have some matches that you can't announce, but hopefully that's one of them.
Well, no. So the ones that I was talking to you about is AAW.
Oh, okay.
I will be there April 3rd, and then I'll be there April 24th, I believe. I think they might have another one after that. So April 3rd for sure.
Oh, nice. Is that going to be in Chicago?
Yeah, it's in Via Park, I believe.
Oh, okay.
They announced it on Twitter. It might have been Monday night.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think it might have been Monday night.
Probably with a limited attendance and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
But no, man, it's exciting. It's kind of like a fresh start, especially just seeing something that Danny just posted saying, it's first time in like 15 years. You feel like he's kind of starting anew, really feeling things out, opening up new competition and everything. So it's going to be exciting, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Sometimes you need that, with the promotions before they get stale. I've been going to AEW for 2 decades, and sometimes that's what you needed.
Yeah, and especially like with the pandemic, man, it's like really a time you can just reset and get a whole new look on life and everything.
Definitely. And also when you review your matches, talk about, when you see your performances, where do you feel you can improve upon and what are you happy with currently?
A lot of it is just like what I always look at. I don't usually ever give myself positive feedback. I mean, I probably should from time to time because it is supposed you should reassure yourself. But I always look at the tenacity with everything that I do, the intensity with everything. I think needs to be there at all times. No wasted movement. I really want to make sure that everything is concrete and like I'm just vicious with everything and like very spot on. But it's just man, just being crisp with everything, making everything look as realistic as possible because if not, you're gonna get eaten alive. You know what I mean? So constantly going back, seeing if that kick looked good, if that punch looked good, if that move looked good, making sure that there's no wasted space, making sure nothing looks fake, just constantly trying to make sure everything just looks as crisp as possible.
Definitely. I got what you're saying, man. And obviously you guys know the details more like than the fans can pick out. We have more of a short-term memory and you do something crazy in the next like 2 minutes, they'll make up for, whatever that we we're supposed to. Yeah.
Well, then it's like really trying to make sure that you own those specific moments, making sure you don't rush anything like that, and just really giving the crowd something to invest into and not just wrestling to be a pro wrestler. You get like fans want to gravitate towards those larger than life people and like people that they can escape to, and making sure that you connect with them and being a part of them instead of just trying to get through that match.
Right. I get what you're saying for sure. And then talk also about, the Chicago promotions, how exciting it is to work there. Going in there and hearing about, how hot the crowds can be. Did it live up to your expectations? And who are some of the wrestlers that told you about, hey, you guys got to come to Chicago and work these crowds?
Yeah, no, it's Chicago's cool, man, and it would be awesome to experience Warrior like inside of the gymnasium that they had, because like when you're outside, like it was last year, it was still cool, but like you're just not gonna experience that same level of intensity or like the volume of the crowd's not gonna be as amplified because it's just open space.
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell. So at that point, you're like having your match and like you're almost kind of worried because you're like, oh man, I wish they were just a little bit louder. But it's like there's literally nothing echoing off the walls to like bring that noise. So hopefully we can get back to having more inside shows soon too. Because I know Warrior just announced that they're going to do their stadium series again, so that'd be cool. I've had a lot of contact with them, so I feel like I'll be a part of that going forward in the future too. So that'll be cool. But then, yeah, I don't think I've ever wrestled at this place that AEW's going to be at in Via Park. But it's inside, so I know that. So that'll be cool. Hopefully the crowd's just rowdy as can be and just ready to go. And Black Label is basically Chicago too. You know, I mean, it's like right there. Technically, Indiana, but it's like right there. So their crowd was cool. Yeah. And I mean, you said you went to that show, the EC3, right?
Yes, I was there.
And then, I mean, those were two like long shows. So like the crowd was super good for that whole entire day. So it's awesome, man. There's nothing like that Chicago crowd.
Oh yeah, I agree. And then hopefully we'll get a chance to see you at a freelance one day as well.
Yeah, I've talked to the promoter a little bit. I talked to him during the collective just, you know, to kind of see if anything was open. He's like, oh, unfortunately not right now, but definitely like hit me up in the future and we can kind of see how things roll from there. So.
And what shows were you part of at the collective, and how fun was that experience?
Unfortunately, I didn't go to the collective.
I
was. Yeah, so I had just debuted for Black Label like what, 3 weeks maybe before that.
Yeah.
So they had already kind of had everything round out with the card at that point. And then the other promotions I wasn't really a part of. Freelance was going to bring me in if like anyone had happened to cancel.
Okay.
But they didn't have anyone cancel at that point. I haven't done anything with GCW. And I'm trying to remember what other promotions. Because GCW had quite a few things. Because they had the culture. They had Effie's. I don't remember
St. Louis Anarchy.
Yeah, and what Sup was there too.
Yeah.
No, unfortunately, I didn't get to do that. I was like, I wanted to, but I was kind of uneasy because just I am still nervous to go around a ton of people with COVID and everything like that. But
same here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll do it again in Indiana. I would like, even if it's not the whole collective thing. Hopefully they'll do, you know, more GCW stuff and maybe a few different shows that it can gather together weekend, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
And then my last question for you is, of course, what can we expect when you return to the ring? It has been since November of last.
The last part I had heard, what you said, it had been like since November of last year.
November of 2020, right?
Yeah, so I did some stuff for SCW in January. So that was the last thing I did. But no, man, it's been a minute. January was the last thing I did something. So I'm excited. April will be my next match, and it sucks that it's been a while, but at the same time, it's awesome. I'm looking forward to who I get to wrestle. I don't know who it is yet, but whoever it is, you know, I'm ready for it, man. It's time to go. I really feel some good things coming on this year. Worked really hard, put in a lot of time, dedicated not only a lot to this wrestling, but everything outside of it to help pave the path to where I'm going on today. So I'm ready for whatever's next, and you know, ready to take the world by storm.
Definitely, for sure. And you're spending a lot of time at the school, and you also work for the school too, right? So you get to work there as well. That's awesome.
Yep.
So you're pretty much there like 12, 15 hours a day.
Yeah, man. I work at the coffee shop next door, and then I go immediately from there to here. So I'm here till like the end hours of the day every day. So
most people watching this interview, they think about pro wrestling, like think they want to go join it, man. It's a big commitment.
It is. It definitely is. If you want to make it to where you want to be, like if you really want to make it to where you want to be, you got to work really hard. Yeah. And I don't mean really hard. I mean really hard. So.
For sure, man. Well, you've been cleaning up the work, and I've seen you, you know, posting. Your girlfriend also seems to be a big motivator in your life as well. You guys work out together and getting those gains in.
Yeah, man. She's incredible. She's the light force for my life, and I can't thank her enough for motivating me every single day. She makes me tear up a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, because she's awesome, man. I couldn't have asked for anything better in my life, and I'm super fortunate to have her.
And I appreciate you being on Pro Wrestling Enforcer Podcast. Check out Travis Titan. Please share where we can follow you on social media. I don't know if you're selling any merchandise, PWTs or whatnot.
Yeah, no merchandise right now, but the Travis Titan on Instagram and the real Travis Titan on Twitter. That's where you can find me. That's where my social media is, and I appreciate the follow. And thanks for the time, man. Really appreciate it.
Every time. Check out Travis Tyne coming up, AEW Pro April 2nd. And if you're in the Chicagoland area, we appreciate you being on Pro Wrestling Enforcer Podcast. Best of luck to you, Mike. See you soon.
Thank you, man.